Bennett arrived at the gym, where she is surrounded by thin beauties, which adds to her confusion. In the locker room, she spoke with a girl called Mallory, who stated it was her first time at the gym. Renee was taken aback by this comment because Mallory maintains a flawless physique at the gym. Renee didn't have time to start exercising before she was inadvertently hurt and had to limp at home. Renee attempts to style her hair using internet video instruction, but the results fall well short of her expectations. Later, Renee went to a clothing store, but her size wasn't available in the evening. Looking in the mirror, Renee became even more upset. The extra weight prevented her from feeling confident and attractive. The girl is an employee of a large cosmetics company, but she does not work in the head office, but in the online division, which is located in an inconspicuous basement. She has a colleague, Mason, with whom she shares her innovative ideas. Renee hopes that her talent will be recognized, but she lacks self-confidence. Renee spends the evening with her two best friends, who are as unattractive as she is. The girls decide to conduct a photo session and submit their pictures on a dating website. Renee is confident that no one will contact them because all of the males love to date stylish skinny beauties. The next day at work, Mason informs her that the server is down. Therefore, Renee must deliver the reports to the office. The girl is quite concerned about this, because working in this office is her dream. Renee overcomes her apprehension after handing over the paperwork to the receptionist. Renee saw idol Avery Leclerc. Upon realizing that a new receptionist was required here, Renee saw idol Avery Leclerc. Renee knew this was her chance. Meanwhile, Avery and her grandmother Lily Leclerc, the company's creator, were creating advertisements for the cosmetics diffusion line. Lily aspires to make her goods available to all women, not only wealthy women with model features. Avery is savagely attacking a possible advertising approach. Renee reads more about the receptionist vacancy. It's the perfect job for her, but she sees no point in sending her resume, because she has no chance anyway. One day in the store, Renee noticed Mallory, with whom some guy tried to get acquainted, but the girl firmly refused to give him her phone number. Renee tells Mallory that she, too, wants to be the center of attention, and that she laments the fact that she will never be in the shoes of all those beautiful girls at night. Renee watched television alone until she couldn't stand it any longer, and went outside to ask the universe to make her beautiful. A miracle is the only thing Renee has to rely on. The next day she went to the gym and worked out so hard that she fell off the sports machine and hit her head. She was brought to her senses in the locker room. Renee realized at one point that she now had the perfect figure, and she was shocked when she looked in the mirror and saw the most beautiful girl in the reflection. It turned out that the universe had granted her wish. Now Renee feels 100% confident, unaware that her appearance has not changed. She took her resume to the head office without a second thought, ignoring the receptionist's bewilderment. Renee met her friends in the bar, and, certain that they did not recognize her, tried to explain that the miracle had happened tonight that had given her a flawless appearance. Neither Vivian nor Jane understood what Renee was talking about because she had not changed. Renee promised the friends that her attitude towards them would remain the same no matter what. The next day at the dry cleaners, she contacted Mason and informed him she wouldn't be coming in because she was unwell. At the dry cleaners, a gorgeous boy named Ethan asked her for the number, referring to the ticket number, but Renee mistook Ethan for her phone, disregarding his attempts to explain herself. Renee gave the guy her phone number, vowing to make time for him, but when the friends checked their dating profiles, they discovered that no one was interested in them. Renee thought the problem was that the photo showed her in her old appearance, but if guys saw her in her new look, proposals would rain down like hail in the evening. Renee was invited to the interview in the morning. She went to the office. Avery and her assistant were surprised to see the girl with non-male parameters, but Renee's charisma and self-confidence interested Avery, who was looking for an energetic, proactive employee, unencumbered by stereotypes about beauty. Renee was ecstatic when she received the job. She went to her previous workplace to personally notify Mason of her transfer to the main office. Mason was pleased for the colleague, but couldn't say it to her face, since he was in the loo. Today is Renee's first day at work, and she is no longer hesitant about flaunting her physique. Many guests were perplexed by the new receptionist's look, but she was immediately seen by Grant Leclerc, Avery's brother, who thought the new employee was amusing, since she felt as confident as all the model females. Seeing the attractive man, Grant, Renee was stunned in awe, and they had a pleasant chat. Later, Renee overheard Avery and her assistants discussing the diffusion line, and couldn't help but intervene, because Avery had chosen a very wrong strategy for advertising cosmetics that were positioned not as high-end, but as budget-friendly. Avery found her advice very useful. In the evening, Renee decided to call Ethan. Thought Ethan was too shy to make the first move. Ethan was perplexed by the girl's persistence, and decided to see her. Renee told him that her life had just turned significantly for the better. When she discovered that a bikini contest was being held at the bar, she resolved to participate by any means possible. Ethan tried to talk Renee out of it, because her opponents were model-type gals. Renee assumed he was simply envious. The females took turns on stage showing off their forms. When Renee stepped on stage, the audience instantly stopped clapping. However, the girl was not humiliated, and quickly earned the audience's sympathy with her charisma. Ethan was astounded by her bravery and boldness, and the audience gave her a standing ovation. Of course, Renee did not win the contest, but that did not bother her in the least. In Renee's opinion, such events are generally rigged. Ethan admired her self-assurance. As frequently as Avery asked Renee for advice, her opinion was very significant to Avery, because she knew more about the prospective consumers of their new diffusion line than anyone else. When Avery invited Renee to dinner, she happily accepted. Renee started to see Ethan every day. They had a lot of fun and comfort in each other's company. Ethan liked the fact that he could be himself next to Renee. He confessed to a friend that he thought she was perfect. Many people are ashamed of themselves and obsessively look for flaws in themselves, forgetting their strengths. Renee is not like that. She doesn't care what others think. Ethan kissed Renee, and they were going to have a passion at her house in the evening. Renee felt calm, while Ethan was scared, and when it was done, they just lay in bed and spoke. Soon after, the pair went to an upmarket restaurant for dinner with the Leclerc family. They were led to a private room. Lily was delighted with Renee's ideas for the diffusion line, and suggested that she fly with them to Boston to represent their new products. Later, Renee meets with her friends at the restaurant. Vivian and Jane do not recognize their friend, who has become very arrogant. When the colleagues invited Renee to go to the private hall with them, she left her friends. Now her entire life is full of vivid impressions. Renee is always meeting new people, and she didn't see how she began to criticize the people around her based on their appearance, believing that she was superior to them. Renee showed up at the bar where the group date was to take place. Regardless of her relationship with Ethan, Renee decided to support Vivian and Jane. The good-looking guys seemed very nice and well-read, and they were keen on girls, and more than just good looks. They demanded a clarification from Renee, who now flirts with everyone. Renee, in turn, considers her friends boring and unworthy of boyfriend's attention. Renee was quite impressed by the attention of such a lovely man as Grant at the luxury hotel. Renee was preparing his speech when suddenly Grant, who happened to be sleeping in the room next door, made her a visit. Grant began to give her hints that he liked her. He confessed that he was tired of being unencumbered by intellect models who were only interested in money and prestige, and Renee was different. He wanted to kiss her, but Renee, seeing Ethan's message, went into the shower under a fanciful pretext, where she tried to calm down. She banged her head at some point and awoke a minute later, realizing she was late. Renee hastened to see Avery, but on the way, she bumped into Mason, who had also traveled to Boston for work. Renee didn't understand why the colleague recognized her, because this was the first time he'd seen her in the new male staring in the mirror. Renee was shocked to see her previous self, and sobbed that her worst dread had come true. She was once again herself. Renee requested a perplexed Mason to detail the presentation at which the new items will be introduced. Renee came home and slipped into deep despair, ignoring Avery's calls, until Ethan phoned her over video connection one day. Renee was terrified to show him her actual face, so she pretended to be ill. Renee drank heavily and ate junk food one day, and she paid a visit to her ex-friends, who were not pleased to see her. Now that Vivian and Jane were spending time with their boyfriends, they told Renee that they loved her not for her looks, but for her kindness and sincerity. But Renee ruined everything when she dared to go to the restaurant and meet Ethan, not knowing how to present her new appearance to him. He didn't think she was playing a joke on him, but she was sure that he didn't recognize her. Renee was upset because all of her wildest dreams had come true, and then she had lost everything in an instant. To replicate that enchantment, Renee returned to that very diamond. But the miracle did not occur in the locker room. When Renee saw an angry Mallory, who revealed that her boyfriend had abandoned her. Renee couldn't believe it because she had always assumed that girls like Mallory never had to face the fact that the girl confessed that she had a major problem with her self-esteem. After learning that Avery was looking for model-like girls to promote the diffusion line, Renee was outraged to advertise budget-friendly products. They need someone who looks like a future cosmetics client. After leaving the friend a voicemail and apologizing for her conduct, Renee decided to make things right with Mason's help. She uploaded a new presentation to the computer and went out onto the stage. When Renee saw her photographs, she realized there was no miracle. Her physique never changed, so everything Renee had achieved was solely due to her merit. Renee gave the visitors with genuine advertising for their items. The crowd burst into applause, and among the guests were Vivian and Jane, who had forgiven their friend Avery, who thanked Renee for everything, but still encouraged her to visit their office psychologist Lily, who hugged the granddaughter and told her she was proud of her. Renee came to it in the evening to seek his forgiveness. He forgave his beloved, stating that he loved her as she was with all her flaws and virtues. Renee now knows for certain that she can do anything on her own regardless of her looks.